I want to compile for you some facts versus the media lies, the panic porn lies that you're getting fed still. And what I'm about to share with you, all of this is data as of 5 p.m. Eastern time yesterday. So close of business yesterday. All of this data from close of business on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. All right? And I want you to just sit back and watch as we put things into perspective for you. And you've been told this is the worst this has been the whole time. It just keeps getting worse. It's worse than it was in March and April and May, right?
Yep.
Let's begin. Percentage of Americans in nursing homes that were killed by coronavirus or long-term care facilities. All right, so 1.986 million Americans live in long-term care facilities. They are responsible for 45% of all coronavirus deaths, which means 3.6%. Even our nursing homes, the hardest hit places in America, only 3.6% of our nursing home residents died of coronavirus. How about Americans not in nursing homes? It's 0.03% of Americans not in a nursing home have died of coronavirus as of 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. 0.03%.
So the flu.
Percentage, Todd said that. You can send your cards and letters to him. Percentage of Americans to test positive for coronavirus the whole time, since the whole thing began, since we started testing. 1.5% of Americans have tested positive for COVID-19. How about right now? Percentage of Americans who currently are a positive case for COVID-19. 0.7% of Americans right now. And we are testing everything that frickin' moves. 0.7% of Americans right now are a positive case for coronavirus. 0.7%. What about if you don't live in New York and New Jersey? Percentage of Americans not living in those two states, which lead the way overall in deaths by far. Percentage of Americans not in New York or New Jersey who have died of coronavirus, nursing home or not. 0.03% of Americans who don't live in New York or New Jersey, regardless of pre-existing condition, comorbidity, age, whether you live in a long-term care facility or not. If you didn't live in New York and New Jersey, only 0.03% of Americans have died of coronavirus. Stop and think about that.
Wasn't this our point yesterday? Why didn't Donald Trump say any of this in that interview?
Well, that's the other reason we're doing this.
Yeah.
Because we're doing it. We're going to have to do it for him, guys. We're going to have to carry him across the finish line. So here we are. All right. Percentage or the total number of states. Let's look at this. Total number of states with fewer than 1,000 deaths in America. 24. Almost half of the U.S. of the states in the United States. Almost half still have fewer than 1,000 deaths, guys. And it's the first week of August. It just goes to show when you put those two numbers together, almost half the states still have fewer than 1,000 deaths. Only 0.03% of Americans not in New York and New Jersey have died of coronavirus. It just goes to show this really is a two-state epidemic. It really is. In fact, let's drive that point home even further. Total coronavirus deaths in Arizona, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. All right. So these are the four red states right now that the media is losing its mind. Right. These are the worst places. These places are hell on earth. Right. Total deaths in those four states, 22,667. Total coronavirus deaths just in New York, which the media praises, Anthony Fauci says is the model, 32,798.
And he's currently gaslighting by setting up checkpoints at this around the city.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why you'd want to go to New York City looking at these numbers. Actually, I'd be trying to get the hell out. But just so you know, those 4 red states, Texas, Arizona, Florida, and Georgia, they have 4 times the population of New York State. 4 times. The number of the 10 deadliest coronavirus states that have mask mandates. So you have to wear a mask, at least somewhere, in these states that are the 10 deadliest for coronavirus. That number is 8 of the 10. The number of the 10 least deadliest states that do not have a mask mandate, 5. Half of the least deadly places for coronavirus in America don't even have mask mandates anywhere. Anywhere. Again, man, I'm just reporting the data. You decide what you think about it. All right? Where blue states, New York and New Jersey would rank in deaths per 1 million population in the entire world if they were their own country. Can you guess where they'd rank? First. If they were their own country, New York and New Jersey would be the deadliest places for coronavirus on Earth. First. Where red states, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, and Texas, which have 4 times the population of New York and New Jersey. But right now, it's the end of the world. It's the apocalypse in these places. They have 4 times the population of New York and New Jersey. If Arizona, Florida, Georgia, and Texas were their own country, the combined number of deaths by 1 million population there would be 13th worst in the world.
Well, they probably wore their goggles there, Steve.
Yeah, and their face shields, I'm sure. Just to show you how bad New York and New Jersey makes the rest of our numbers look. U.S. deaths per 1 million population, if you include New York and New Jersey, 483. If you take them out, it drops by more than 100. It drops by more than 100, guys. If you take out New York and New Jersey, it drops by more than 100. If you take New York and New Jersey out, here are the European countries that have worse coronavirus mortality than the United States without New York and New Jersey. Those countries are Belgium, the UK, Spain, Italy, Sweden, France, the Netherlands. At least half of Europe has worse coronavirus mentality than the US does if you take New York and New Jersey out of the equation. You know, those European countries that are kicking our ass, that we should be more like. Now, I want you to take a look and consider all of the coronavirus facts that I just shared with you. And I want you to ask yourself whether it was worth losing 1/3 of our GDP, 1/3, 1/3. Canceling our way of life, all those memories, the graduations, the ball games, the weddings, the things that aren't coming back, the proms. Leaving our loved ones to die alone in hospitals and medical facilities like savages. Turning all other health issues away for months. There's a study out today. I have it on my Twitter account. Cancer screenings are down like 60% weekly. COVID didn't cure cancer, guys. So you know what that means. How many women didn't go get that lump in their breast examined and are going to find out 6 months or a year from now it was too late? How many men didn't go get that lump in their scrotum examined and they're going to find out 6 months or a year from now it was too late? Pancreatic cancer, one of the worst, most lethal forms. You have to catch it early. What happened? Those screenings are down like 25% each week. How many of those people are going to find out when it was too late? How about all the depression, the suicides, the substance abuse? Was it worth it? Was it worth all of this? Here's the bottom line. You are being scammed. Scammed.